Good evening. Welcome everyone. If you will sign in and say hi. I've just opened up the comments. And it's a little bit before 7, sorry, Eastern Standard Time. We've got about 3 minutes. I am Dawn Duval with Shall We Stamp, and we are just waiting for people to pop on, and then we'll get started with 2 projects this evening. Okay, just checking to make sure I got my cameras all situated and make sure that I'm in the right spot where you can see me, and I think I am, so that's a good thing. All right, so we're going to wait a few more minutes. I know it takes people a little bit of time to get on. I think I've got everything organized for this evening. At least I hope so. Hopefully I don't need anything. I have to get up and go grab it. I have been working like a mad woman trying to get projects done and classes prepared for the next, really the next 6 weeks. We're going to be in and out of town, but I've got someone that's going to teach my 2 in-person classes that I will not be at. That way my customers won't miss out on those as well. And then I may not be here for one of the Facebook Lives, but I'm going to do a video in advance, and I'll post that for you all. Hopefully it'll be something that you may or may not have seen. So I'm trying to get all of that done. February is going to be a pretty busy month. My husband is taking a sabbatical. He's a professor at Florida Southern College in Lakeland, Florida. And he's taken a sabbatical, excuse me, which means he will not go back to work until August. And I'm not used to him being here all the time, so it's a little bit of a challenge, but it's okay. We haven't killed each other yet, so that's a good thing. So, I don't know what I'm going to do when he retires and he's home all the time, but we're fine. We survive in a motorhome together when we travel, so I don't think him being here, he'll be out golfing and doing all that fun stuff. So anyways, all right, it is 7, so we're gonna wait. I'll wait another minute or so, and then I'll go ahead and get started. And as always, this is recorded, so you can always come back and watch the recording. One of the items that I'm going to do is a Onse Sheet Wonder, and I will put the template and the cards that I've already did. I've done one set of cards to show you the cards rather than it takes too long to try to make them while you're watching this video. We'd be here for at least probably an hour, and I'd rather show you the cards that I did using this template, and then another project that I made today. It's really easy, but it looks hard, but it's not. It's really easy, so I'm happy about that. So we will see, and hopefully you'll like them too. I'm bringing you another fun fold, so hopefully you'll enjoy that as well. All right, so if you're popping on, say hi. And again, I'm Dawn Duval with Shall We Stamp, coming to you from cold Florida. We are having a cold spell. And I know you guys up north probably, I'm going to adjust this, so bear with me. I'm just going to move this down a little bit. For us it's 30, 40, no, today it got, I think, 50. Tomorrow, I think it's going to be in the 30s, so, which is cold for us. But anyways, hey, Patricia, I got your card today. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm just going to wait a couple more, maybe another 45 seconds to a minute, and let a few other people pop on before we get started. And thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. It helps me reach more people. Hi, Norma. Welcome. And so anyways, we're going to do two projects this evening. One is going to be a one sheet wonder. And I'm just going to show you cutting the template, which I'll post to the Facebook page this evening. And I've already did one template and made the card, so we'll use the same template, and then I'll just show you the cards. And then I've got another new fun fold, which I just saw it and made it today, and it looks really hard, but it's not. It's quite easy, actually. So hopefully you'll enjoy both of those. So I will start here, and let's give it another, I hate to keep y'all waiting. Let's give it one more minute, and then we'll get started. So Indiana and Minnesota, is it cold in y'all's neck of the woods? Because I know here in Florida, we're in the central part, it is, that's what we're expecting, 30s tomorrow. Today I think it got up into the 50s, which for us is cold. 30 is even freezing, so. And they're talking about frost warnings, so I moved my outdoor plants into the garage, and then I've got some that I'm going to cover up with some sheets, so we'll see. But anyways, you know, I guess we're fortunate to be south, because you guys are probably going to get it worse than we do, and for a much longer time. But anyways, all right. Well, it is 7:04, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And those that join us, I'm sure it is cold, because I'm telling you what, I'm freezing. I'm even putting the coat on the dog when we go up to the mailbox. So. All right, I'm going to flip the camera down, and we'll start with our one sheet wonder, and then I will move on to another template. So give me a minute. I'm going to stick my finger up here and flip the camera. Okay, so in case you don't know, and I apologize if you do know what a one sheet wonder is, but I'm going to go on the assumption that some people don't. So a one sheet wonder is taking typically it's a 12 by 12 piece of pattern paper, but you can use it on 8.5 by 11s, but majority of us do them with 12 by 12, and you use a template and you cut it up to make a certain amount of cards, and the templates vary. So this particular template will make 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, we'll make 12 cards, and I'm going to show you the cutting process, and then I'll show you the cards that I made using the Country Club suite. I did that yesterday. And I did want to announce the drawing from last week. Make sure you all understand that I do use the comment picker, which is a random picker. And I swear, I don't know how to pronounce this name, and she just popped on a few minutes ago. It's is it Avenel or I'm not quite sure how to pronounce your name. Avenel Randall. I really wish that you would email me and tell me how to pronounce your name. But you will get a prize. So if you'll message me with your mailing address, I think I have it from before, but if you'll message me again, then I'll get that in the mail to you. Welcome, Mary. And so we're going to get started. So we're going to be doing a one sheet wonder this evening for those that are just stopping in. And then we're going to do another fun fold. But this template, we're going to cut it down. I'm going to show you the cutting. If you're not familiar with this, we're going to make 12 cards, and then I'm going to pull the cards that I made last night and show you what I made using a different pattern paper. So this is the template that I created, and it's not to scale, so you have to bear with me with my measurements. Let me move up a little bit with the, whoops, that might be a little bit too much with the camera. Okay, let me get in here. All right, so what we're going to do now, I've got the measurements in here. This is a 12 by 12, even though it doesn't look like it. So if you look down here, I've got the arrows pointing. So we've got these two sections are going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now these down here are 1 3/4 by 5, but you can leave them at the 5 1/2. So you don't have to cut those off if you don't choose to. So the first cut we're going to do is we're going to cut at 5 1/2 down this way. And then the next column that we're going to make, these are 5 1/4, and so, 5 1/4, and it's by 4 inches. So we're going to cut this at 4, which will leave us this last column right here. So I'm going to cut the 5 1/2 mark first, and then I'm going to turn and cut these cards at 4 1/4, 4 1/4, and then these are going to be 1 3/4 by 5. I'm going to not cut the 5 1/2, and then so we'll have 2 1 3/4 by 5. Let me get this back in the camera. Sorry, I'm trying to hold this up. And then the second column will be 5 1/4 by 4. So you'll have 2 of those, and then we'll have one that's 1 1/2 by 4. All right, and then the last ones are going to be 3 1/4. So we're going to have 2 at 3 1/4 by 2 1/2, and then we'll have 2 1/4. We'll have 2 of those by 2 1/2, and then we'll have 1 by 2 1/2. Hope that makes sense. I will post this in the section on the Facebook page so that y'all will have this template. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this down, and I'm going to do the first cut at 5 1/2. All right. Now bear with me. I've got a small working station here because I got other stuff in the way, and I'm going to. Unfortunately, I can't do this backwards because I'm not that talented to cut it backwards. So the first cut I'm going to do is going to be at 5 1/2. So we're going to line this up at 5, and we're going to move it over to the 5 1/2 mark, and I'm just going to cut this straight. Let me make sure this is down, and we're going to cut that straight down. All right. Now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to turn it. All right, and then we're going to cut 2 at 4 1/4, and then we're going to cut 1 and 2 at 1 3/4, and I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off because I'm going to make these two at 5 inches. Okay, so my first one is going to be 4 1/4 because this is already at 5 1/2. So we're going to do 4 1/4. Let me get my quarter lined up here, and I got stuff all over my paper trimmer. All right, so we're at 4 1/4, so we're going to cut one of those, and then we're going to cut another one. And y'all have probably worked with these templates, but I think this is a really good template for somebody that's just starting out and you're not sure what to do. So this is really helpful with just giving you some designs that will help you. Okay, so we have 2 that are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and now I have the 1 3/4 by 5. So I am going to cut this down. I'm going to cut it down. It's actually set at 5 1/2, but I'm going to cut it down to the 5 because I want to actually, yeah, let's cut it down by the 1/2 inch. So we'll do it at 5. So let's cut this at 5. I'm going to move it right over to the 5 inch mark there. So I'm just going to trim that down. So now we've got our 5 inches, and we're going to do 1 3/4. So I'm just going to take this, and this is what actually we're going to do 1 3/4 here, and it should cut it right in half. Let me make sure I get on my 1 3/4 mark. All right, so we're going to cut that at 1 3/4. And we're going to pull that down. So we have 2 of those. So we have 2 of these at 1 3/4 by 5, and then the other 2 are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now the last 2 that I just cut, you could have left them at 5 1/2 if you chose to. So we have this one little piece that would probably be the only scrap that we're going to have. Okay. So the next ones now we're going to cut at 5 1/4, and then we're going to cut that. So I'm going to put my paper back in. So before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and cut this at 4 inches. So we're going to take and put our paper in at the 4 inch mark. I love these One Sheet Wonders. I tell you, if you need to make a lot of cards, this is the way to go. All right, so we're going to cut this at 4, and then that leaves us our last column. All right, so we're going to take this, and we're going to turn it around. Whoops, got to open up my thing. Okay, and the template shows that we're going to cut 5 1/4. So we're going to move this up. We're going to do 2 of those. So we're going to move it to 5 1/4, and we're going to cut that. So that's going to go over in this pile. I kind of keep them a little separated, not that you have to. And then this one's going to be at 5 1/4. 5 1/4, right about there. All right, so that's our other one. And then the last one is 1 1/2 by 4. So if I've cut these right, we should be at 1 1/2, which we are. Okay, so far so good. All right, now the last template, the last column, we've already got this, which is going to be at 2 1/2 inches. So we're going to turn it. We're going to cut 3 1/4 2 times, and then we're going to cut 2 1/4, and then 1 inch. That should leave us a 1 inch. Hopefully I calculated that right. So we're going to do 3 1/4, And again, I'm going to put this up on my page so you'll have access to this template. And I'll also put copies of the cards that I made last night. So we're going to cut 3 1/4, and we're going to do 2 of those. Get this out of the way. For some reason, I can't seem to lift this up. And then we'll do 3 1/4 one more time. When I did this the other night, I cut one of these things wrong. So one of my cards is not going to be accurate when you look at them. Now we're going to do 2 1/4, and we're going to do 2 of those. All right, so we're going to do 2 1/4 right there, and we should have one more 2 1/4, and that should be right there, which would leave us, let me open up those things so I get that in there, 2 1/4, and then that should leave us our 1-inch strip, and it does. All right, so there are our pieces that we will use if we were going to put this together right now, but we're not. So I'm just going to show you what I did. Okay, so with this template, we're going to be able to make, let me move my paper cutter out of the way. We're going to be able to make 12 cards. All right, and I think this is pretty cool. So you've got the first ones that we did. Let me move these out of the way. So these are your 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. We got 2 of those, and then we have 2 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. I'm sorry, those are over here. Okay, and then the 5 1/4 will go here, and then that. So here is all the pieces that we need, and then all you need to do is pick out what colors you want for your card bases and start putting them together. So let me show you the cards that I made last night, and I used the Country Club Suite. And now one of the cards, I only have 11 because I put 2 pieces on one. So, okay, so the 5 1/4, I'm sorry, the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, we did this. This is using the Country Club Suite. So this covered the full card base, and that's on Garden Green. And then I put, let me get this in the camera. I put the Happy Birthday on a circle, and then put some of the baker's twine that comes in the suite behind that, and pop that up on dimensionals. So that's one of our 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And then the next one I did is on Night of Navy. And this one is the same thing. This one I actually cut it at 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, but had it open up this way, okay? And then this one I cut at 4 1/4 by 11, and then I put the other template on here, and then I used our tailored tag punch, I think it is, and stamped Happy Birthday, and again used some of the baker's twine from the suite to coordinate. So you can see how easy it is to put these cards together. I'll move these over here so you can see. And then the next one I did, hopefully I've got these in order. No, I don't. Let me see. Well, that's all right. All right, this one is using the 5 1/4 by 4, so that's in the second column. So I just turned the paper over so that you can see the opposite side of the paper. And this one I did at 8 1/2 by 11. I'm sorry, 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. And I just, again, used some punches and pulled in some of the baker's twine that coordinates. Again, it's very simple to do. And then the next one I did at 4 1/4 by 11, and this is Pear Pizzazz. And I used the opposite side of the paper again. And then this time I used 3 punches. I did the starburst punch and then 2 circles in coordinating colors, and then just put some rhinestones on there. And these are all birthday cards because I send a lot of birthday cards out to our neighbors and friends and stuff. All right, now this one is the 4, let me see, which one is this? This is the 1 3/4 by 5. So this is that 1 3/4 by 5 strip. Now I put that on a back of Night of Navy, and this is Garden Green, and then I just made a banner and stamped Happy Birthday. And this is done at 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 as well. Most of the time I don't do anything to the inside of the card. I wait till I get ready to send it out. All right, and the next one is the same. So this is the other 1 3/4 by, this one is at, I left at 5 1/2. So this one I cut it down. This one I left it at 5 1/2. And I used a piece of Poppy Parade, which is colored in the flag, and stamped another sentiment there, and then put Happy Birthday on the inside. So you can see how easy it is to make these cards with a little, you know, you don't have to do a whole lot of stuff to them. All right, now this one should be one of these 3 1/4 by 4. And this again is 4 1/4 by 11. And I used garden green with a base of Night of Navy and then the back side of the paper. And then again, I just did a punch with the happy birthday. I'm trying to make sure I get this in here, which way I'm going here. All right, and the next one is another one of the 3 1/4. And it's just turned a different direction. And I did this one on a Night of Navy base, and then I put the garden green with the back with the archival on the outside with the happy birthday. And then this one I did on a whisper white, and this is one of the 2 1/4. And again, very simple. Just put it on a base of whisper white, and then I put it on a mat of garden green, and then did the happy birthday. And then this one I did again. It's the 2 1/4. This one I didn't mat. I just left it on the white card and put the sentiment on the circle, and then I wrapped the navy and garden green baker's twine around it, which is on the inside of the card. So I thought that was kind of different. And then the last one, this is the one where I used 2, and one of these I cut different, so my numbers were off just a little bit. This one is on a base of green, and then this one's on a mat of Night of Navy. So if I had put this one on another card, I would have had 12, but I actually just made 11. So that shows just how simple it is with these templates. And if you need to make a lot of cards in a short amount of time, this is probably the way to go. So I'll put the tutorial, the template on the site. And I also have a subscription for a Onse Sheet Wonder where you get a monthly template and sample cards. So I'll put the link there if you want to get more information on that as well. So I hope you all enjoyed that. I really think this is a great way to use. Again, one, it's a great way to use up a lot of our pattern paper that we have sitting around so we don't hoard it. So I think this is a great way, very little, minimum work really. It's just putting the sentiments on there so you can jazz them up as much as you want. And or you could do as less as you want. Yeah, Mary, you are right. If you cut it wrong, you just improvise, and that's what I did. I just said, well, no one's going to know the difference, just me. So out of that, I only have, you really are going to, in this, what I cut, you're only going to have this little piece left over. And actually, you wouldn't have that if you left the other 2 pieces at the 5.5 mark. So that's the Onse Sheet Wonder. I hope you all enjoyed that. So now we'll move on. Oh, sorry, Karen. Yeah, I showed how to cut it. So if you go back and watch it, the replay, it will be on there. I'm going to post the template. And then these were the cards that I made last night. I didn't want to hold y'all up by me making the cards because we've been here for probably an hour or so. Okay. All right. So, but you're here for the good card because we're doing another fun fold. Hi, Judy, who lives in Florida. How are you? All right. So the next one we're going to do is one that I found, and I just made this today. And they're calling this a double point fun fold. And this is how the card, if you can see, hang on 1 minute, I'm going to adjust my camera just a little bit. Let me get over in the camera. Ooh, which way do I need to go? Okay. We're going to use this stitch nested dies, and then we're going to fold this paper, and then you open the front card like that. That's the front of the card, and then we're going to open it, and there's the inside of our card for another sentiment. Let me get it down. Whoops, let me get it up here. I got my camera adjusted too high, I think. So what do you think? I think that, now this is I use the Magnolia the Magnolia paper. Very easy. It looks a little bit more complicated than it is, but trust me, it's not. So this is a fun card to make. So we're going to go ahead and do that, but we're going to work with, let me just show you, and I'm sure you all have seen this all around, because everybody's doing it, is using I'm going to use the Tropical Oasis. This is what we're going to use. So I'm going to use the paper and the stamp set and the dies right here. And this is in our mini catalog on page 38 and 39. So that's what we're going to be using. Okay? And then the paper, I'm sure y'all have seen this, is absolutely stunning. Isn't this gorgeous paper? Look at all that. It's so tropical. I mean, it's really, 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 really pretty. So that's what we're going to be working with. So let me get my supplies out here. We're actually going to, I'm going to live on the edge. And I'm using Mango Melody for my base. And that's going to be 4 1/4 by 11. And let me get all my stuff out here so I can show you what we're doing here. And we're going to do some blending, which I'm not the greatest blender, so don't hold that against me. And I don't know, you know, it's really, some people blend better than others. And then we're using the, let me put this up here. We're using the stitched nested dies, and I'm using, if you start from the inside out, I'm using the number 6 and number 7, which are these two. All right, and I went ahead and cut these just again to free up some time. And I want to make sure that I'm in the picture. And then this is the stamp set we're going to be using. Isn't this gorgeous? Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit, because I think I moved my camera down. But I love this. I just started playing with it yesterday, and actually it's really pretty. So you get 10 stamps in that, and then you get 13 dies. But look at this. You can actually punch out the pineapple, and I'm sure you all have seen cards already being made with the pineapple, and then you've got the flowers you can cut out, a small pineapple that you can stamp, palm trees, flowers, and aloha. So you can actually stamp out the words aloha. So that's what we're going to be working with. And let me put those away so we don't lose any dies. And let me move this out of the way. All right, so let's get started. Now, what we're going to do, and I'll do a tutorial, a PDF, and put it up. I'll have it up by tomorrow. So if y'all don't want to take notes, then you can just watch. But I'll try to give you the measurements as I go. All right, so we're doing the Mango Melody at 4 1/4, and that's our card base. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold it. And right now, we're not going to do anything with this. We're just going to put him off to the side, okay? And the next thing that we're going to need, I'll give you these first, is we're going to need 2 pieces, and I'm using real red, and we're going to need 2 pieces at 3 1/4 by 4. So 3 1/4 by 4, 2 pieces of coordinating cardstock, whatever colors you want to use. And then we're going to need 2 pieces of Whisper White that are 3 1/2. Can't read my handwriting. 3 1/2 by 3 3/4. So we need 2 Whisper White pieces of 3 1/2 by 3 3/4. And then you're going to need a scrap. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get to this designer paper. The paper is 2 7/8. 2 7/8 this way by 3 3/4. And you're going to score at 1 inch. And you need 2 of these. But here's the thing that you've got to look at. If your paper has a direction, okay, and this really does in a sense, because if you flip it around, your flowers could be looking the wrong direction, but you know, it's however you want to do it. So if you have a pattern, then you want to look at how your pattern goes, right? So for instance, this one here, to me, looks like my flowers are going down. So I scored this and on the top, so this will be the top of my card, okay? And then this one is scored at the 1 inch, but I felt like that way they kind of look like they're going in the same, they don't look like they're, okay? Does that make sense? So if you don't have a pattern, don't worry about it, just score it 1 inch. But if you've got a pattern, just keep in mind, one of them is going to be facing down. One of them will be facing down like this. In this case, my magnolias were this, you really can't tell. But you want one that's, if it's got a pattern, you want your pattern to face up this way, and then this one to face down, okay? Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So those 2 7/8 by 3 3/4, and you are going to score at 1 inch on those. And then you need some scraps, and I used the largest die, and I did 2 because I wasn't sure if I wanted, so there's some blue in here, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the red or the pool party, and this is going to be for the piece on the front. So I was going to get y'all's opinion of what you think would look better, the red or the pool party. So leave me a comment, and we'll decide before I get to that part which one we want to use. So I'm debating on using the red for the, which will be this like the green. So I want to do either the red or the pool party, okay? So y'all can kind of think about that, let me know, and then we'll go ahead and get started on the card. And then you're going to cut the smaller die. So this was done, these were done by the number 7 die. And then this was by the number 6 die. So this is the smaller one of the two. Okay, so these are the stitch nested framelit dies. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do, and I'll flip my things over because I got numbers on them, is we are going to work on one of our pieces, and we're going to fold. Let me move all this out of the way, and we'll stamp our stuff here once we get all this done. All right, so we'll get our stuff adhered, and then we'll work on that. So we're going to go ahead and adhere our Whisper White to the card base because we want to have that on there before we attach our paper, and then I'll show you how we're going to fold the paper. So let me get my Tombow out. Actually, I think I'm going to use my snail because we'll be writing on this. So we're going to go ahead and adhere this down, and we'll do that. Hopefully I'm in the camera. All right, I'm going to pull back just a little bit because I did zoom it up. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and attach this to the piece here. All right. Now, on these two pieces, I'm going to take a little mark on my pen. Now, we're going to take, and we need to find, let me get my ruler because you won't be able to see otherwise. Hang on a second. Let me get my ruler. Sorry about that. All right, so we want to make the middle mark, so 3 1/4, 3 3/4. The halfway mark is going to be, give me a second. Can you see that? All right, so all we're going to do is make a mark for the center point, and I think I wrote, let me see if I wrote that down to make it easier. I probably didn't, but let me look. Maybe I did. Nope. Okay, so 3 3/4, 3 1/2 is 1 3. So it'd be 1 7/8, if I'm not mistaken. So 1 7/8 was going to be right about there, right? So 1 3/4 is 3 1/2, right? Is that right? And then we need another quarter. So yeah, so the center part is going to be at 1 7/8. So all I'm going to do is mark this. I'm going to do it on this side because this is where we're going to fold it. We're going to fold this in, and it really isn't as hard as you think it is. Let me just get this right lined up there so I can make a little mark. So I'm going to make a little mark right there, and then we'll do the same thing on this one. And then all we're going to do is fold it. It's pretty, once you get that part down, it's pretty easy. So we'll put a little mark right about there. Okay. All right, so now we're going to take, and we're going to take our card. Let me zoom in just a tad. Let's see if we can get this up here. Okay, so here's where we did our score line, right? So I'm going to hold my finger here. Now what we want to do is we want to line this up right above the score line, but fold it on that piece right there. So we're going to have a point, and then we're just going to get it as even as we can. It doesn't have to be exact, but some people, I was watching the lady that was doing this, and it about drove me crazy because she kept, I'm going to turn it this way, sorry. She kept turning everything and trying to make it perfect, and I'm not a perfectionist. I mean, some of you may be, I'm not, but that's just the way I am when it comes to stamping, because I just feel like it doesn't have to be exact, okay? So we're going to fold it like you're making, you know, the old days of making football. This isn't really going to be seen. It's going to be hidden. So, and then this is going to go up on our card. So it will be like that, okay? So this one, we're going to do the same thing. And there's my mark. So we're just going to take and kind of hold your finger right there. We're going to pull this over till I get to my little point right there. And then just fold it down. And keep it right above the score line because we want to be able to, we're going to attach this to the other card base. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to do it this way so I can see. Sorry, you guys. So we're going to, again, fold it and keep it right above the score line. Make sure we've got them lined up, and then you can kind of gauge this one by the other one. All right, and we'll put that one right there. There we go. All right, so we have our points done. We have our little footballs. So everybody knows how to make footballs, right? Okay. So now I'm going to look at the ones that I marked as my top and bottom. So I think I am going to, I think I'm going to put this one on the top, just the way that the flower is looking, and then I'll put this one on the bottom, okay? So we're going to put this one on the top. So all I'm going to do is put some adhesive on here. All right, my snail, I just opened this. Bear with me a second. Might have to use my Tombow. Yeah, it's getting hung up again. All right. All right, so we'll go ahead and put another one there. And then all we're going to do is lay our cardstock on here and butt it up. Just make sure it's even on both ends so we don't see any edges. And we're going to butt it up. Oops, wait. Before we do that, we have to glue these down. My mistake. Sorry, I almost caught myself. All right, so we just want to put some adhesive here. I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? All right, so we're just going to glue our little flappy doos down. There we go. Now we're good. Now we can attach that. So we're going to attach that to the red cardstock and make sure we've got it on there, and then just push that down and fold on that. Okay, so there we go. All right, that's pretty even. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. We'll attach our corners down. So we're just going to fold those. All right, and then put our adhesive, pardon me, here, and we'll do a little bit there. And then we're going to attach this on here, and we'll get it put in the, hopefully y'all can see this. I'm going to lay it down right about there, right on the edge of the crease, and fold it over, and we've got that done. So see how easy that is? Pardon me, it looks much harder than it is. Hang on one second, I'm going to move my camera just a little bit. Sorry about that, you guys. There we go. All right, so that's what we did there. Okay, so far so good, pretty easy. And this I'm going to use as my top of my card, and this will be the bottom part of my card. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to stamp on my Whisper White piece, and I am going to stamp a, let me see, what I'm going to do here. I'm going to stamp a flower, and I'm just going to stamp the flower in Mango. I'm going to stamp it in Mango, and I might do a little bit of, I'll stamp it right there, okay? And then I'm going to stamp the sentiment. Let me see which one I got, so I know which one I'm doing. Rest and relax. We're going to do, I think this will cover it. Hang on a minute. May your birthday. Yeah. We're going to do May your birthday be memorable. So I'm going to stamp that in black. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to stamp that on the front in Memento Black. Make sure I got enough ink on it, which I think I do. I'm going to stamp off just a little because it's a little too, there we go. All right, and then I'll stamp that right about here. Okay. All right, so let me close this up. So far, so good. And then, let's see, what I'm going to do here. Let me clean this. Hang on 1 minute. Get my chamois out of the way here. I tell you, these things are, they look pitiful, don't they? You see how bad it is. But they clean, so that's all that matters. All right. So we've got that done. So we're going to take that. Now, which do you all, hello, Miss Amy Banks. Which color do you think I should use on here? The red for the base or the blue or the pool party? I'm kind of leaning towards the red. Okay, it looks like everybody's saying red. Oh, yep, I think so. All right, we'll go with the red. And okay, so but before we attach, let's go ahead and attach that because I'm not going to do anything else to this. And then we're going to work on this piece right here, and then I'll show you what we need to do. And so I'm going to go ahead and you're just going to lay this on here and get that so it's even. All right, now this will be attached. Again, this is my top, right? So it will be attached. So what we can do, if you want to be a little bit more precise, you can use this template if you want to stamp something on the inside here. Then this is where you want to keep your words from going outside. All right. So what I'm going to do is this is the top. I think I'm going to, let me see what other stamps I brought over here. I think I'm going to go ahead and stamp another flower. Oh, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. Let's stamp we're going to stamp I got to find my brown. We're going to stamp a pineapple. So let's stamp a pineapple. We're going to put him right on the inside. And then I'm going to put another sentiment. So we're going to stamp this little guy. Let's stamp him right about there. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did him in brown. I did this in soft suede. And then I'm going to color him in a little bit. And that's good. And then the sentiment, I think I'm going to put, here we go. I think I'm going to put the rest and relax right here. You deserve it. And then I'll leave the inside where I can just tighten my own sentiment. So let me take that off, and I'm going to stamp this in, I think since I did the pineapple, I think I'm going to go ahead and do this in the brown as well, just to kind of keep it similar. And let me do the black, because I'm going to color let me do the black. I'm going to color the pineapple here in just a second. Let's go ahead and get this sentiment on there. And this is rest and relax, you deserve it. And we're going to put him right about here. Okay. It's not quite centered. Hopefully it's not sticking over the edge. Ah! That's okay. I'm not going to fret over it. All right, so I am going to, let me move this out of the way. I'm going to take and actually I'm going to use the pineapple for the pineapple. The pineapple blends, and I am going to color the top of the pineapple with the light pineapple. And I'm just going to lightly, I'm not going to do a whole lot. I'm just going to kind of color it in so it looks like it's got some yellow in it. And then I've got, whoopsie, I've got Granny Apple green, and I'm going to color over the pineapple. Let me get the bigger one. I'm going to color the bottom part of the pineapple to kind of give him a green effect. And I'm not going to color all the way. I'm just going to do a little bit just to give it, you know, how pineapples are. All right, so that's what we're going to do there. So that's all we're going to do on that. Hopefully my sentiment is not going to be out in the way. Oh, perfect. All right, so there's that part of the card. Now, so the next thing we need to do is we're going to attach this to our card base. And, well, actually, let's do this first. Okay, so since this is my top, then you just want to eyeball where you want this to go so it's even, correct? So probably right about there. So all we're going to do is put some adhesive right on this part right here. And I'm just going to do the Tombow glue just to make a little circle right here so it can stick, okay? And we'll just have to hold it down. That's probably a little bit too much. And we'll hold it down for just a minute to get it where we want it, okay? And let's just say that's where, and see, you can see my little words, but that's all right. No one's going to know the difference. We'll move it over just a tad. Okay, so just hold that right there for a second. Let that do its thing. So while I'm going to turn it over. So while that's doing that, let's go ahead and attach. I'm going to put a white and a red on the inside of the card too, just to bring the colors together. So I'll just add my adhesive to the card, and we're going to put that on the red. All right, and then we're going to add this to the inside of our card base. And you can use your snail or your, I got little fuzzies all over. Get off there. Oh, I'm going to have to get my glue. I have to get my glue eraser. I picked up glue on my thing. So we're going to attach that right there. All right. And then this, we're going to go ahead and attach to our card base. And I'm going to use my Tombow on that. You know, I probably told you this before. I just started using Tombow because I don't really like it. But I really like it now, using it on cards and stuff, because it really holds very well. I just don't like getting it on my hands. So, I don't know. A little strange. So I'll go ahead and attach that here. Let me get it this way so I can see what I'm doing. And we'll plop it down and place it about like that. And the one thing is, Tombow is a little forgiving, isn't it? Let me move it down just a tad. There we go. I think that's good. What do y'all think? All right. Let me just look at it this way. Very good. I think that looks good. All right, that's our card. Pretty easy, huh? What do you all think? I like it. Now, I could take a little bit of the red and go inside of here. I might do that later. I think I'm going to leave it, the mango melody right there. But there is the card. So you open it up, and there's our pineapple with a sentiment, which I should have centered it a little bit more. And then they'll open the card the second time, and then you'll have your sentiment in here. And I'll probably stamp another flower and the, actually, I've got glue right there, so I'm going to have to get my eraser. But let's go ahead and stamp one more flower on the inside. We might as well carry that theme all the way through. So we'll just stamp that right there. And we'll do, I think we'll leave it like that with just the flower. We could probably put a little bit of red. Let's see if we can just bring a little bit of red in. We won't do a whole lot. Just kind of pull it in a little bit. And this is the light red, so we'll just try to give it some marks. And again, I told you I'm not the greatest, but we'll just do like that. That'll be fine. All right, and I may come back and color in the center because that does look a little weird. All right, so there we go. It's a double point fold card. I love these cards. Don't you just love this? All right, so I will put the measurements and the tutorial. I'll put a tutorial on there, a PDF tutorial. I'll add it to the site tomorrow because I'll need to get that done. And I'll put the template for the Onse Sheet Wonder on there tomorrow as well. That way you all will have access to all of those. And I will put the pictures of the Onse Sheet Wonder cards that I made so you can just get an idea of what I did. But really, it's all about, you know, doing whatever works for, you know, whatever you feel like. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I hope you make some of these cards. And if you do, please share with me. Put it on my, you know, post it and tag me or something so I can see. I would love to see what you all come up with. So, and I'll put the PDFs on the site tomorrow. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I really appreciate it. Stay warm, and we'll talk to you soon. Marcia, you're in the Villages. Hi. Welcome. I'm over in Sanibel. So, all right, everyone. If you have any questions or need any information or anything, please let me know. And again, if you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to earn your business. And if you need to purchase any supplies, please go to my online store at shallwestamp.com. And I will see you all next Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all later.